Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cross-Gen Gaming. I'm the boy, Dylan George.
I'm that guy, John Bennett.
Yeah, he is. I thought you said you were going to be that man.
I could be that man later. Right now, I'm that guy.
You're that guy? What changed? What changed over the course of 5 seconds?
I forgot.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you are getting old, so... Does make sense. So, hey, Mr. JB, did you hear the new game that's coming out?
There's a game that's going to be actually a reason to maybe buy a PS5. Just kidding. It's also on PS4.
It is also on PS4. Horizon Forbidden West! Critics got it a little while ago, and their review embargoes lifted as of this recording a couple days ago, and people liking it.
People are liking it quite a lot.
Yeah. They're loving it. Like, I've seen... The lowest score I've seen is like an 8. I've seen 8, 9s, and 10s.
Yeah, and it's also really helpful that this version or that this game came out not at the same time as Breath of the Wild 2.
Yeah.
You know, just so they can separate themselves, because that was the problem with Horizon Zero Dawn, is they came out like basically the exact same time as Breath of the Wild, and Horizon Zero Dawn's really good. I am going to make a hot take and say that it's not even close to as cool as Breath of the Wild is, and like, you don't at me at that, because like it's just not the same. I'm sorry, guys. It's really good. It's just not the same.
I mean, hey, I haven't played Zero Dawn, but I know it will not match Breath of the Wild for me.
It's just not there. It's really good. It's so good. It's not Breath of the Wild. Continue.
Yeah. I mean, it seems really fun. It's on my it's on my ever long list that will never
ever
be filled.
Growing backlog.
Mm-hmm.
You have such a tiny backlog compared to mine too. It's so ridiculous. And I don't. That's not like a size joke.
Good.
That's not like a size joke. That's like a. That's
like that, but sure.
That's just like I'm old and I've bought so many games, and like literally it's just a giant closet filled with games that I haven't played yet. So,
but yeah. So Horizon Zero Dawn came out a couple years ago. People loved it. It helped solidify the sort of Sony or the PlayStation single player game brand.
As someone who's just getting into that, by the way, I gotta say, super compelling reason to actually have a PS4. It's pretty clear to me that like their exclusives are some stuff that, like, at least on the PS4, that can really drive some sales, obviously.
Anyways, Zero Dawn came out. People loved it. So, of course, Sony would make a new one. They released Horizon Forbidden West. People were excited. Critics were excited. They got it. Everyone's loving it. GameRant even had to say that Horizon Forbidden West is a step above its fellow open world games because it goes out of its way to ensure that everything is worth doing, not just the main story. It's more of the same from Zero Dawn in a lot of ways, but with significant improvements across the board to create a generally superior experience. The highest praise you could give.
What's also really interesting about that is that the PS4 version apparently runs just as well, not quite as like sharp as the PS5 version, but it also runs even on a base PS4, just fine. To quote IGN's tests, Horizon Forbidden West had a huge weight of expectation laid upon it, yet the results managed to exceed all expectations. Its visuals, even on a base PS4, are cutting edge with a dense and dynamic world, vibrant colors, impeccable performance, and interactions that will leave you aghast at times thanks to the quality achieved. The PS4 and the PS4 Pro offer up an incredible package all the same, and it's awe-inspiring they pulled off such a technical feat at the end of the generation, which is really, really great for me because I got a PS4 in 2021. So I will be buying this game on PS4.
A lot of people have PS4s, and not a lot of people have PS5.
Something along the lines of like 100 million units or something like that. I don't know. I didn't count it or anything like that.
It's a lot more. So there's a lot of people in your position where they're like, I mean, if they played Zero Dawn, they're like, is Forbidden West good? Can I play it?
I'll just buy this.
Is it going to be like Cyberpunk? Should I be worried? Like, it is a fair thing to be worried about. And it is, I mean, looking at the IGN article, which we'll have linked down below if you want to check it out, they get real detailed into it. It is really interesting seeing just how nice it looks on the base PS4.
At this point, this is the cool thing about like cross-generation games, is that like you get to kind of see the best that a system could possibly achieve, while then also seeing kind of a glimpse into the future of like what's coming, which is really, really stinking cool. And we've kind of had that. I think Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut, came out on both. Oh, yeah. We haven't had a whole lot of like just PS5 exclusives. So there have been several games that have been cross generation, but I think this one's going to be the kind of marquee of, hey, do you want to like play this game at 1080p and just like on your TV that you've had forever, and like you don't really want to buy a 4K TV, and you already have a PS4? Perfect. Buy it on PS4. Hey, did you actually manage to get a PS5 from the scalpers? Do you have a 4K TV? Do you want to make this thing run at 120 FPS and look absolutely stinking gorgeous? Perfect. Buy it on PS5.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're able to hit so many people is going to be huge for sales.
Ginormous.
They're going to sell so much.
That was the thing I was thinking. It was like, I'd love me some Ratchet and Clank, and the new one, phenomenal, but only on PS5. And
Only
it was
PS5.
not talked about as much as I know Forbidden West even already not being out for the public. I've just heard a lot more about it. It is just gonna be so much more popular, and it is gonna keep that Horizon IP going and going and going.
It's really great because we want more great single player content. I think we both are a big fan of single player content. Dylan here is a big MMO guy, well, at least with Destiny 2. But at the same time, he did mention Ratchet and Clank. Big fan of playing Ratchet and Clank. And I'm not going to get a PS5 until I can get one at retail. So like, dumperonies on that.
Good luck. I'll see you in 3 more years.
I mean, I got a PS4 in 2021. Like, I'll see you in 10 years.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I am happy. I haven't even played Zero Dawn. I'm not even like the biggest fan, but just seeing this work so well is really nice.
Yeah, I'm really happy for these developers. I think it's going to be a great boon for gamers as well. I think it's going to be a great boon for gamers. I'm not sure it's actually going to benefit the PS5. That's the thing that I'm a little concerned about. And this is the thing that I think that we've both been talking about for a little bit is there's still not a really great reason. There are some reasons, but there's not a great reason to buy a PS5 if you already have a PS4, in my opinion.
No, I totally agree.
As somebody who has an Xbox One X and a base PS4, there is very little reason for me right now to go out and purchase an Xbox Series X, and I'm not getting a Series S. Absolutely not. Get out of my face. And I'm not going to get a PS5. Number one, I can't find them, so like, there's that. But also, what am I going to play on it? My PS4 games? I already have a PS4.
Yeah.
Like Returnal? Okay, Returnal is really cool, but like,
is it a system seller? Is it
is it
$500 for?
No.
Yeah. Like,
nah.
And even I think you specifically are a little. You don't get as caught in the hype as most people, but even then, what game is there really to get hype about? Like, people will buy
currently
Pokemon,
none.
Will buy a Switch for Pokemon. That's it.
Or Animal Crossing.
Because it's Pokemon. Because it's Animal Crossing. You see that, you're like, let's go. What does PlayStation have for that?
Well, exactly. I mean, and the fact that it's exclusive, there is nothing. I mean, again, Demon's Souls is really great, but I wonder if this game had been PS5 exclusive, would it have actually done better for the PS5? And I also wonder what year is going to be the year where they're finally like, and you know what? PS4's dead. Sorry, guys. We got to move on. Because it's going to happen at some point.
It will happen at some point, but the track it's on now, it'll be a long time. I mean, at the very least, they've got to reach a point where they can sell PS5s in stores.
Right.
Which we're over a year in. Not happening. So,
not happening.
Who knows?
Here's a really good question. What is a game that you think really benefited from being cross-gen?
I know one specifically. And I know all of you are going to laugh at me. You're going to say...
Don't laugh at Dylan.
You're going to say, Dylan, you only play one game? I mean, you're mostly right. But I know what you're going to say.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
My answer is...
Here comes...
Destiny.
D1, baby.
Destiny
D1.
1.
I think Destiny 1's a good answer.
I really think it is, like, aside from the joke, I really think I have a really sound reasoning for it. To give quick story if you don't know, Destiny 1...
Hey, Dylan, you got to keep it quick, though. I'm going to time you. And, put a timer up right now that you only have 1 minute and go.
Destiny came out, it was Bungie's new game, and everyone was really excited about it. There was a lot of hype. But then when it came out, it sucked. It's bad. No one liked it. Everyone was sad.
No one liked it.
So people just left. They left away, but there was like a 10% of player base that stayed, and those people were cool.
Dedicated fans.
They were so awesome. That was the best time in Destiny because it had the best community. It was just a bunch of tightly knit, close people, and without it being on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, would have happened.
Big nerds staying together, looting those caves, hanging out, being big nerds, talking about how much they hate Peter Dinklage.
Okay, we still love him. We still love Dinklebot. We hold him in a special place in our heart.
I think Destiny 1's a really good example, especially considering how important online was for that game. Horizon Forbidden West is not quite the same thing.
Oh, certainly not.
Because it's not dealing with massive multiplayer communities. It's not dealing with anything like that. All it needs is, power, some sort of system to play on. But Destiny, with the community and everything, that's one of those IP, and especially considering that now Destiny has become one of those things where like people are trying to kill it the way that like people were trying to kill WoW for a long time.
A Destiny killer is a phrase. Hasn't worked, but
exactly.
It's there.
Same thing like, this is going to be the next Halo killer. It's like, okay, well, no, sorry guys. Anyway, that was super important, especially considering that like the online infrastructure back in 2013, 2014 is not anywhere close to what it is right now.
I'm sure.
I think another game that may have benefited, I think probably the most from being cross-gen, and I wanted to kind of temper some expectations of this one. I'm not a huge fan of this franchise, but I do think that this game benefited from being cross-gen, and that is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Oh.
I think that game really benefited because I think otherwise people were kind of getting a little tired of the franchise, and I think that kind of reinvigorated some love for the series. More importantly, I know several people who bought that game twice. They bought it when it came out on PS3 or Xbox 360, and then when they finally upgraded, they bought it again just to see the upgraded water physics, which is actually kind of interesting. Yeah. Did you know, here I have a question for you. Did you know that there are a lot of games that end up being cross-generation that I feel like most people don't really know about? For instance, were you aware that Persona 5 is actually cross-gen? It came out on PS4 and PS3 the exact same day.
I own them both. And yes, I did.
There you go.
After I played 5, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. So I looked stuff up. And then, I heard like a whole story of like its development where it was in development for a long time. And it was planned for
such a long time.
It was planned for PS3. I think it's exactly the same sort of situation with Breath of the Wild, where they just kept developing it and they kept delaying it, that it eventually just kind of rode the line of the previous and current gen. So they're just like, we've been saying it for so long, we got to release it on PlayStation 3. And they did, but also PlayStation 4.
Right. And really the only difference between those two games is one of them renders in 720p, the other one renders in 1080p. That's the only difference, which is really interesting. The other one I was going to mention is I think a lot of people forget that Breath of the Wild came out on the Wii U.
That's where I first played it.
I think that version actually runs surprisingly well.
It did.
I owned it as well. The only thing that I really would have liked to have seen is if they actually gave it some like exclusive features like they were talking about, such as the map on the tablet. Would have been so cool.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you telling me the Wii U was full of missed potential? There's no way.
As a Nintendo fan, yes. It was the dark times, 2015 especially, was just like the dark times.
It's really funny that Nintendo recently like announced that the Switch passed 3DS sales. And it's funny looking at that site where they have all their sales listed and just see the severe like 100 million, 120 million, 860 million. And just go back. It's like, ooh, that was not a good time.
What's so funny is also like, again, like we're going off on a little bit of a tangent here, and so I want to get back on track. But like, the GameCube is also one I think people love the GameCube. Like they look back on it fondly. The GameCube was like did not sell anything
really
close, like not even close to what they were expecting it to. It was a huge flop.
They didn't want the cube.
I don't know. The Cube is like one of my favorite systems of all time, but like no one bought it. So
another cross-gen game is Twilight Princess on the GameCube and the Wii.
Twilight Princess. That one's a good one too.
So here's a question I'll throw at you, JB. Do you think developers should...
Can you not call me JB like a French maid?
No, I'll do what I want.
You were like, Jebi? Like, no, I don't need that.
Hello, JB. So you think? Do you think developers should keep doing this? Do you think people should keep bothering with making their games cross-gen?
It's tough because I think generally, yes. Like the reality is making games is really expensive, right? And we're always looking to get returns on our investment when people are making games. So a really great way to do that is to make a game for an established player base, like, I don't know, 125 million consoles sold, like the PS4, and then also for the PS5 that, like, no one can actually buy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yes, I think they should, but the trick comes with when they shouldn't. Ooh. I think a really good example would be like Cyberpunk. Not 100% sure they should have done that one.
Nope.
Honestly.
Nope.
That one was kind of a pooper.
Just a little bit.
Just a smidge. And like it's or like Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs is another one where we're like, yeah. I don't know about that. Yeah. I do think that developers should keep doing this when they can do it well. If they can't do it well, and honestly, you should probably be able to figure out pretty soon into development if you can do it well and if you can't. And it's your job as a manager to explain to the stakeholders, hey guys, sorry,
no goo.
Yeah, if we ship this, people are going to riot in the streets and we're going to lose a lot of sales, or have it pulled down from the digital storefronts, like, I don't know, Cyberpunk did or something like that. I don't know.
Good job, Cyberpunk. Good job, CD Projekt Red. You are a good example of what not to do.
Not to do.
You've saved further franchises.
But also a really good example of how to do stuff, because they ported Witcher 3 to the Switch.
Yeah, very weird.
The Witcher 3, which is a huge 50-plus hour RPG, can play on a Switch Lite, and it's not horrible. How?
It is really impressive. As soon as they announced that, everyone was like, what? And it works. Just works.
And it's not like a cloud streaming thing like Kingdom Hearts. Good job, Tetsuya. It's like, it's actually on the cartridge. That's insanity. Anyway, they're such a dichotomous company. I don't understand them sometimes.
But yeah, I mean, my answer is fairly similar. But I'd say it's more just a very generation by generation case and a game by game case. I think it's very much like there's a lot of factors you need to consider. Firstly, it's like, how many people own the next gen? How well is the next generation of consoles being pushed? Is it going well? Is it not going well? Do a lot of people have it? Do not a lot of people have it? You got to consider that. So like in this case, it's definitely better to do cross-gen if you can, because not many people are getting the PS5s. Not many people are getting the Series X, Series S, what have you. But along with that, you just also got to consider the game by game of like, okay, what is this? What are we doing in this game? Is it even a technical capability?
That's the big one.
Because like with Rift Apart for Ratchet and Clank, they're like, we can't. The technology we are using to literally have us just teleport from a world to world is not going to really work. What is that face?
I call BS. I think it could have worked. I think that was some pure marketing BS, honestly. The whole like, oh, we can like zap you to worlds. Like, yeah, I mean the PS5 loading is really impressive. But I don't know, man. You played Ratchet and Clank 2016. It looked pretty dang good. It's not that far off.
I mean, maybe.
It's not that far off.
It's
I played Ratchet and Clank 2016 recently, and then I watched video of like Ratchet and Clank, whatever it's called, Rift Apart. Yeah, that. Granted, I wasn't watching it on like a 4K TV with like ray tracing enabled or whatever that they call it now, but like those features I think are like a good reason to be like, hey, we can't really do 4K on a base PS4. All right. Hey, we can't really do ray tracing on a base PS4. Okay. hey, we have to have this fast SSD to get you to your spots as quick as possible. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like
Okay.
that kind of makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense because, like, they told you it made sense. I'm just saying that seems
I mean, sure.
tenuous. Tenuous at best.
Sure. Assuming they were being truthful and it wasn't just marketing BS, I can understand them. I think you have to consider, like, can we even do this? Because everyone's favorite tried and true Cyberpunk, he couldn't really have done it. So it would have just been better not even to bother. So there is many factors you have to consider with it, and I don't think it is just a simple yeah, you should, or no, you shouldn't. It's you got to it's one of those things where you literally have to sit down and figure out, like, okay, can we do this? I think the bigger question is can, not should. Cuz I think if you can, then you most likely should. Because I mean, hey, more players,
why not? Like, I think House of Marquee probably was like, hey, if we could release Returnal on PS4, we might do that, but, like, we're a small team and we don't have that big a budget, so pass.
But that's just our thoughts on this whole situation. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are, so just let us know.
Please tell us in the comments down below. We're gonna put some cool links so you can check out all the stuff we've referenced in this episode, and let us know what you think about our thoughts and opinions, because you also have thoughts and opinions that are your own, and we'd like to see them.
And we love them. We love all of your thoughts and opinions, and we care for each and every one of you.
Unless you say that Assassin's Creed is a good franchise, in which case I'm going to have to fight you in the comments about it.
Ignore him. You can say it's a good franchise. I support you.
You can say it. You can say it. I'm just going to fight you on it.
I support you. Don't listen to the old man.
Dylan, where can they find more of you?
They can find me on...
Did you say it's getting late? Hold on. Wait. Point of order. Did you say it's getting late? I'm going to kill you. I'm going to murder you.
You can find the young spry boy on YouTube at just DA Dylan Machine. I'm posting little Destiny stuff there. Surprise, surprise. I got some funny little clips there of me and my friends doing wacky things with more stuff coming soon.
I did watch one where there was an engram that did a cool dance on a conveyor belt. It was very good.
It just spun around for a little bit. It was great.
It just spun around for a long time.
I'm also on Twitter, TikTok, all of them things. Same name. Just go find me out. What about you?
You can find me, that grumpy old man who hates all the games that you love. I'm at the Great Uke on basically everywhere. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on Twitch, streaming Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 10. As I've mentioned, I have an enormous back catalog of games. We play a bunch of random crap, and we have a lot of fun doing it. Dylan's there sometimes. You should check it out.
Yeah. And that's all from us for this episode of Cross Gen Gaming. We'll see you in the next generation.